Welcome everyone.
Hi everyone.
Today we have a prediction for Squid Game number 3. And over here we have found some interesting parts coming from Squid Game 1 and also Squid Game 2 to show you guys. And there's some interesting things you might not know about what might happen in the future. So jumping into the first part, which I really want to go back to Squid Game 1, which you can see on the final episode of Squid Game 1. There are 5 people wearing different golden masks together with a frontman over here watching the final game of Squid Game 1. Remember this part?
Yes.
So, and I'm sure you guys remember, during this time there's people having different masks, and this can kind of give us a bit of review and also teaser of the Squid Game MVPs. And briefly I'll talk about how they play a big role for the future of Squid Game. So I'm sure they'll probably come back to this because this was a pretty big scene in season 1, but we haven't gotten to them in season 2.
Do you think the main character, he will get to see any of these VIPs?
He already seen one. So here is a review of one of the VIPs with a mask. And guess what? This was the old man.
Yeah.
In season 1, it was revealed that the old man was one of the VIPs.
Yeah.
So that said, what we want to see or what we want to talk about is, yes, we don't get to see all the reveals of the VIPs, but we do get to see that old man was putting down his mask, and he was one of the ones that wear the, I guess, the fox or the rabbit mask, and probably the fox mask.
Yeah.
And when he confronted the old man who was the mastermind behind season 1, so here's something I want to bring to you guys, which will help us to predict what might happen with season 3. So yes, a lot of the core concept coming from season 1 is also played in season 2 and also likely to come in season 3. So I remember you asking me why did I take this screenshot. So do you want to explain what happened here?
So in here is when the main character and the old guy meets after the main character has won the game. And then they had a final bet
Yes.
on human kindness.
That's right. So to summarize is, the old man don't think anyone will save the beggar, while the main character believe faith and also goodness in humanity, and he believes someone will save him. And I guess at the time when the timer came, someone did call the police to save the beggar. And that shows this to kindness, which is what the main character believes in. This is why he came back to the next Squid Game. So during this time, before I jump over to the prediction of what might happen to the main character, it is important that we don't ignore that the frontman is also here. He was here to celebrate or to talk to the winner of Squid Game 1. And during that time, he was in a car and talking to the main character. Remember that part?
Yeah.
A good point you raised over here you want to share with us?
Oh, so yeah, I actually forgot about this part until I rewatched season 1, and then I was like, oh, they actually met each other face to face in season 1. So
Well, he's blindfolded.
yeah. So the main character can't recognize the frontman voice.
I think it could be possible at that time he was just too disoriented from winning. But this might be a lead up to how he will recognize him as the frontman or one of the organizers for the game in season 3. So this might play a role for sure. So this is the time they met, and he was talking to him and using similar voice in season 2 as well. But during the time, it's different when you're blindfolded and when you hear the voice, and also it's a little different. So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Now, around this time, the frontman also speak to the old man, and he decided to partake the game in season 2. I do believe this is one of the reasons he decided to do that. So how does all this come into connection? I also want to bring you guys to this information. You want to share with us?
Oh yeah, in our last video about the front-man, we were saying that we were suspecting that the front-man might have participated in the previous Squid Game, which some of our viewers told us that yes, back in season 1, it did say that the front-man participated Squid Game in 2015, and he won.
Yes, so my prediction was that he has participated before he won. But what we're not sure is the time doesn't seem to fit. If the time of the death of the frontman's wife is 5 years ago, and this is more than 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's like 10 years ago.
Yeah, so that means he could have prevented his wife's death with the money he won. So the only thing we're not sure is that the time did not match. And let us know what you guys think about this. But it does confirm my previous videos predictions that he actually won Squid Game. And this is one of the reasons it will come into more importance as we go to the next part. So, the frontman is very ruthless and he's very powerful. He's military trained, if you have seen the previous video. So what might happen is, in season 1, the main character and his best friend or his good friend become the last 2 contestants to fight. And I do believe in season 2, the frontman and also the main character might become friends and they will still fight just like season 1. So maybe here is when we have the frontman and here is the main character. What do you think about this?
Well, that's possible.
Right? He's also playing as a friend role to be friendly with the main character.
But is that breaking the rules?
What do you mean by breaking the rules?
The Squid Game rules. So only the participators are going to play the games.
Well, not exactly. He's a participant, no? So I guess this is one of the predictions. So it's the frontman versus the main character. I'm sure most of you will be like, hey, Matt, I don't know about that. So one thing I do want to mention is one second prediction of what might happen to the ending of the Squid Game, which will come back to the information we spoke earlier. So this picture actually shows the team of characters of importance. I guess this guy, we will talk about him at the final point. The good friend of main character has already died and he was killed by the frontman. So now the main character's kind of the best friend to tend to is probably the frontman. So this might lead to this kind of contrast of match. Main character versus his friend.
Okay.
But on the second part, I was speaking to Yunie about this. So we're going to quickly jump back to a few clips earlier. So this is the conflict of belief. The main character believed the goodness in humanity and humans will help each other. So a wild prediction for me for season 3 is that the main character sticking true to his beliefs, especially after seeing his best friend or good friend die in front of him after trying to save everyone, he might sacrifice his life for this girl. Do you want to explain why?
Well, this is actually quite interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not going to explain your thought, but I'm going to explain myself that to be honest, I think, well, it is interesting from your point of view, but then I think it's not very possible.
I think it's a wild prediction because, just to recap, she is the girl who's pregnant. There is multiple reference, especially in the Cube game, that say having her on the team means it's an extra participant because she's got a baby. And this is a big factor, I guess, in games that may be hidden. So Squid Games like to have twists. Maybe one of the twists is that he will sacrifice his life to that she and her baby can live. And
but then if he died, then there is no Squid Game 4 then.
Well, I think the plot writers are brave enough to consider something like this. So either the main character versus the frontman, just like the Squid Game 1, which is the traditional, it's a little, how should I say, stereotypical, right? But the second possibility is the sacrifice, that sticking true to his beliefs, that he might sacrifice himself for the pregnant girl. And we might see more scene of her, which is interesting, no?
So you think the people who live at the end of the game will only be this pregnant lady?
Oh, that's a good question.
Is that what you mean?
I did not say that. So unlike Squid Game 1, only one person lives, I think in Squid Game 3, or 2.5, or the few follow-up of the seasons, I think the more people will live. This is when we come over to this part with the sea captains and also the special force and also the policeman, the brother. So here, I'll just say the guy's pretty silly, I like him. So here they're discussing, and I'm sure you guys know the sea captain is a spy. And, he killed this guy who discovered he was hacking their devices. And the special force guys, I do believe they will play a role in disrupting Squid Game 3. I do not think Squid Game 3 will come to an ending that is to what the VIPs expected, because there's multiple factors that will become chaotic and become a catalyst to affect this whole show. So one of the big, guess for me is that the mercenaries or the special force guys, one of their friends died and they want revenge, and I think they will get revenge. So in some ways, the sea captain is going to be discovered as a spy, likely coming from the city guy. He might be silly, yeah. I think the city guy will find out he's a spy, and then probably turn on to him, and then they probably search through his documents, and the special force guys may be one of the wild card that comes into Squid Game 3 to disrupt the final game, to allow more participants to be saved. What do you think?
Well, I think it's very
reasonable.
likely as
Yes.
well. Yeah.
But remember, the sea captain is always one step ahead of them, and he's
Yeah.
a spy. They don't know about this, and he keeps misleading them, right?
Yeah.
So just with those guys are not enough to disrupt the possibility of the plot for Squid Game 3. This is why we're going to come over to this inside staff member, the number 11 girl. So we talked about her in the previous first video of the Squid Game. I think she's going to play a major role in disrupting the game. So you want to recap us on this part?
So in this part is this number 11 guard. She has been messing the people's plan.
Extra cash plan. They were harvesting people's organs without killing the contestant.
Yeah.
And she was not happy about this. And when she refused to join the organ harvesting, the other staff member came and also threatened her, even cut her face to stop her from interrupting the plans. But to her belief, I'm sure you guys probably have seen the previous video. If you haven't, to her belief, she believes that the best in humanity, she believes she's here to save those people who are hopeless. So one of the final scene of her, I do believe this is her by the way, is with this particular father, 246. So just to recap you guys on this one, number 11 girl, she found out this little girl who's very sick and she needs money for emergency. And the dad who looked after this little girl joined Squid Game so he can get the money to save his daughter. The backstory of this girl is that her own child was lost. And she feel connected and she feel empathetic to the dad. So after seeing this whole scene, her emotions and her face expression and also her attention to the dad really shows in the game. What I think is, I did mention this in the previous video, I think that because of the threats that was given to her, and she doesn't look like a person that's going to take those threats without retaliate, without fighting back. She's going to fight back using the dad who she shot but did not kill to get back to the organ harvesters. And this will greatly disrupt the plan for the game because this is something the frontman did not see. And this person who's supposed to be in the second place of the frontman could potentially be killed or affected, and then the game wouldn't run as smooth. And because of number 11's potential chaotic interruption of the game, this is when the special force can come in to together interrupt Squid Game 3 so that there wouldn't be a final where there's only 2 survivors. So this is where it's possible to have multiple plot endings with the pregnant girl and also with the frontman and also the main character. What do you think? Pretty connected, right? So
Yeah.
I like to connect things. I think all of those backstories, which it is a little draggy for the first 2 episodes of season 2, but
Yeah.
I think they are laying foundations for something to be revealed to you guys. So you'd be like, right? It gives characters incentives to do something they normally wouldn't do. And it will surprise other characters when a character like her, who follow all the orders and do everything correctly, will suddenly not kill someone and use this against them. Now, to follow up, we do have a number of side characters like the son, the mom, and over here the scared kid, and over here the marine. So do you want to briefly talk about them? What do you think will happen to them?
Yeah, so with this marine guy, we spoke about him in one of our previous episodes. I was a bit surprised that he was like so scared, so coward at the gunfight.
Yeah.
I think in
Some
the
people
next
say.
in the next season.
He's a spy? Is that what
Yes,
you're gonna say?
some people said that he might be a spy, but then I think it's not very likely, to be honest. And I think maybe he will be very guilty in the next season.
Yes, I think
Maybe he will die, I think.
a lot of them will die because a lot of the characters that is here will die. So this is why we only have a few side characters. Of course, there's a lot more with the shaman lady, with the other persons, and with the greedy old guy. We'll talk about them in future episodes when we get a chance to, if we get a chance. So I do want to touch up on the mom and son. Those are 2 very interesting bonds, and this will become something that can affect Squid Game. I don't think both of them will survive. This is my prediction.
Really?
I do
Not
not
even
think-
one.
1 maybe, not 2. And I do think either the son or the mom would die, and this may be leading up to more events related to the characters. Because similar to all the Squid Game shows, a lot of the important side characters do not survive. They are here to create dramatic effect, to create human nature, and to show us what humans are capable of during the hard times, for something good or something bad. And in terms of this guy, I do believe that he might have a change of personality, or he might have different attitude change or big shift of character plot.
Oh, you think so?
Maybe a development that
Or maybe he feel guilty for that
maybe
girl.
And maybe he will sacrifice himself to take down the bad guys.
Oh,
Who
okay.
knows?
Yeah,
No.
that's interesting.
Or maybe he will become one of the bad guys. We don't know. Because when you undergo those tragic events or dramatic events, people might change. And finally, for the Marine, yeah, like you said, I believe he might be apologetic, or maybe he's a spy. People say maybe he's a spy, but I don't think he's a good spy. So a lot of things to be expected in season 3. And I'm gonna leave those open because I want to go those characters a little more details, give you guys more footages. And this is just a brief prediction of what might happen to the side characters. So let us know, guys, what do you think will happen in Squid Game 3? And do you like our predictions, and what are your thoughts on those?
Yeah.
Thank you for watching, guys. We'll see you guys next time. Now, if you guys haven't subscribed to Matt and Yunie, this is a really good time to do so, because we'll be covering a lot of shows, sharing our life experiences, and also to share something silly and also something funny as we watch stuff and as we experience in life. So make sure you guys subscribe, like, and also turn the notification on for future videos.
Yay! Subscribe and like and
Yay.
share.
Thank you, guys.
And comment, don't forget.
Okay, that's a lot. Okay, thank you for watching, guys. So see you guys next time.